podcast time. It's podcast time. It's podcast time. It's podcast time. Podcast time. It's podcast time. JP and the horse. JP and the horse. JP and the horse. Podcast time. It's podcast time. It's podcast time. It's podcast time.
What's up, y'all? It's your boy Horse. I'm chilling here with my dog, JP, literal dog, Lucy. We have two very special guests here, Patrick Kitzel, JON BuskE.
What's up?
And we got a special friend in the peanut gallery, Brian BuskE.
On the casting
Lucy's just
couch.
Chilling. I don't know what she's doing.
Casting couch.
Yeah.
This is actually the casting couch
that's gonna be the video
auditions.
later. Yeah.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's your mic. If you're wondering, everything's getting picked up, so you're good, man.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, so
What up?
want to do the gift giving ritual, even though we already gave them, but we can do a little fake
Hook it up.
gift giving.
Fuck yeah.
Where's it at?
Well, we got John a very special 6-pack
We
of some
did.
very expensive fancy beer.
Is it expensive?
Yeah, rare.
Yeah. Very rare.
And I'm gonna reach behind you real quick.
You guys are big on
Modelo
shout outs. I know.
Especial. This is the shout outs
fuck yeah.
podcast.
So I got to shout out my man Casey for
What's
putting
good?
me on to the Modelos.
That's what's up.
So thank you.
I wanted to give you this because I don't know if your
look at
brother
that.
ever gave you one.
No.
WD, W1
Did I give you
Winning
extra?
9
Yeah,
FM,
I know
CCC
it.
College Radio.
Okay.
Bob
Yeah.
Appel. Was he 189?
No, he was Seneca Falls. This was
All right.
over in,
Shout out to Jeff Says.
yeah.
And Kitzel, I didn't want you going home without a present. I got you this for when you're on your
'Cause we
cattle
know you like
drives.
the wild, wild
All
west.
right.
If
thank
you're out
you.
on a cattle drive, that's an MRE
All right.
from the
That's
military. Yeah.
Thank you.
It might come in handy.
Can
It's
we
been
crack
kicking
that
around.
open? I'm kinda hungry.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Don't forget that.
Oh, boy.
Thank you. This is great.
Fuck yeah.
189. We used to do they used to have these call up things where you'd be like
Okay.
the third, fourth, fifth call or whatever, and you win a package and they'd send you shit. And I remember getting these sampler tapes called Concrete Corner. And it
Okay.
was a management company, Concrete Management, and they would make these sample tapes. And it had everything on it. And that's before I first heard Pearl Jam.
Damn.
And it was before, yeah, it was totally before, that record had come out. And I was like, this
Yeah.
song is actually kind of good. And then they fucking got huge. So 189 FM.
That's what's up.
There was a legend that 189 in their vinyl section, they had like a Metallica test press for like Kill 'Em All or something.
Really?
Yeah.
College radio was,
That was how like a lot of bands broke back
everything
then.
broke.
Yeah.
College
You guys
radio.
should have talked to Chisholm about seeing Metallica on that tour and, Slayer, Raining Blood.
Oh my God.
Wow, that would have been sick.
They,
That'll be part 2. of the
yeah,
Cheers
he's coming
episode.
back.
Yeah, you guys should do one with him just on all the metal shit. He saw
Yeah.
him and Michelle
Okay.
fucking lighting fireworks.
We can have
and
them. We can have
bleachers
them
and
both.
shit.
We can
Yeah,
have them
what's
both on the show.
What's the venue in Poughkeepsie?
The Chance.
The Chance. They saw all that shit there.
No shot.
Yeah.
I saw Hatebreed and Crowbar there.
Oh, there you go.
It was sick.
There
That was
Kirk
the
Winstein was blackout drunk, and they only played like 4 songs, and they had to stop.
Two of the best right there.
Yep.
dude.
Hell yeah.
We got a sick group pick with
Were
Kurt.
you at that
Yeah.
Rochester Hatebreed Slayer show? Like in
I don't think I ever saw them with
99
Slayer
maybe?
there. I don't think so. I remember Hatebreed Rochester shows being extremely violent.
yeah, well that
I believe
was-
it.
Yeah. So it could have been a number of shows, but anyways.
Also, before we forget, I want to thank JON BuskE. He got me and JP like a gift bag full of tons of cool shit in it.
Yeah, man.
I'm freaking blessed, dude.
And
This
mad
is sick.
shirts.
Merry
Look at that.
Pudmas.
Enjoy.
And a happy new beer.
I got a merch Woody right now. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm fucking hard.
Enjoy.
I'm up, dude.
There's some good shit.
I want to look through some of this stuff, but oh, sick! The Promised Believer. I got this CD.
Same.
That's my boy Shane right there.
Yeah,
on the
little
back.
Shane.
Wait,
Shout out
let
to
me see
Shane
that.
Drizio.
Yeah.
Not so little
Oh,
anymore.
fuck yeah.
He
Same
showed
haircut.
Up, he showed up when we did those Bane shows recently.
Okay.
Those reunion
Yeah.
shows. And he showed up
Yeah.
and he's like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, what's up? And he's like, you have no idea who I am, do you? And I'm like, no. And he's like, it's Shane from the back cover of your record. And I was
Yeah.
like, holy shit. He's like an official
Hard ass.
man.
Yeah.
You know, he's like a little boy on this thing.
Did you ever hear Sacred Pledge?
No.
His dude.
That's his band?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah?
that was his band.
All right.
Yeah, they
I
were
remember
hard
the
as
name
fuck.
for sure. Was Shane in that too?
Swood was not
No.
in that. It was him, Nick Sanzota, Reggie McCafferty, who went to play in Backtrack.
He moved to New York.
Yeah. Mike Ryan played drums. He sings for CDC now.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, and the original drummer Adam Leppick's our boy too.
Yeah.
Nice.
So yeah, they were hard as fuck.
I remember the name for sure. Yeah, so enjoy that shit.
Oh, yeah.
There's a bunch of stuff in there for you.
Another Victim, which was another one of his bands.
Yeah.
If you don't know that, look that shit up.
Yeah. I have all this shit too on my web store, so if anybody wants any, please, I need to get rid of it.
Link in a bio, folks.
Yeah.
We'll definitely throw up that link.
There's a comedian I follow on Instagram, and he put up a story like a couple weeks ago, and it was like people moshing, or it was like wrestling or something like that, and the Kiss Off was playing in the background.
Wow, really?
I should have screenshotted that shit. It was fucking dope.
You get a royalty or
I
something?
hope so.
Yeah,
I might.
Yo,
Maybe I'll get a
we're gonna
penny.
find that
Yo,
guy.
it's like-
and
He
we're gonna
opens for
sue his
Dave,
ass.
he opens for David Tell, so he's pretty
Really?
high up.
Damn.
Reach out.
I've mentioned this on the PUD before, but I remember as we were young kids that were going to shows, and like we were more into like the punk rock side of it, you know, like the Dead Kennedys, Minor Threat and stuff.
Mhm.
And so the back in the time when we started to go to shows in like 02, it was sort of like the whole metalcore, fashioncore era, which I didn't really fuck with, but it's like
Same.
that's what was going on.
Yeah.
So you like kind of had to go to those shows. And I remember hearing about your band, The Promise, and then going to see them.
Mhm.
And it's like, this is what I want a hardcore band to sound like. Like you guys looked normal, you know, you just wore like sports clothes or whatever. I
It's
love
kind of-
sports.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how the Promise started. to be
Yeah,
honest.
it was sort of a reaction to
Yeah,
all that
totally.
stuff that was going on.
That shit
Because
was so
no,
corny.
no disrespect to those bands. I just wasn't into like the
Mhm.
studded belts and the
No.
tight jeans and the makeup.
A little disrespect.
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, sure.
Actually, a lot.
Yeah, it is what it is.
And that's sort of like my salad days, I guess could say, would be like 07 to 09. So you got bands like Naysayer and
Mhm.
Trapped Under Ice, like the return of the hard
Right.
style, as I
Yeah.
called it. So
That was
that
a
kind of
good
paved the
era.
way for all those bands.
That was
I
a
mean,
good
hardcore
era.
in general, I think, is cyclical.
Goes in cycles.
You know
yeah.
what I mean? So it's like it was only a matter of time until some band came along and said these guys are whack. You know?
Yeah.
So that's just the way it works. You know, everything is just it feeds off of every 3, 4, 5 years. You know, so it's just time. Somebody tried to do something new and incorporate fashion into hardcore, and it just was I don't know, doesn't work.
I kind of wonder
Yeah.
if they did that on purpose or if it just,
Organically
something,
happened.
and then they just ran with it because
Kind of like Trump's
either way it's
presidency.
whack. All those bands sucked.
But that was in
Musically-
emo's like heyday. So
Yeah, it was
like maybe
this-
they were like
it was
the
like a merging. You're right, of like emo and hardcore. My whole thing though was when you get these dudes up there looking that way, and then off stage they want to talk to you all about the Cro-Mags and all this stuff, and it's like, you know, or they have
Yeah.
a Cro-Mags patch with this crazy. It's just I don't know. That whole thing just rubbed me wrong always, and it still
Yeah.
does.
it just seemed like it was a money grab.
It
Like
was
we
just-
can look this way and sell it to Hot Topic and have a certain look, and oh, we actually like the Cro-Mags. It's like just play good music. Actually,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm glad it's
Yeah.
gone. I'm glad it's gone. So
But maybe it's gonna come back.
yeah, I'm sure it will.
Because I'm sure there's some kids that like to them that's their
Sure.
AF.
Sure.
You know.
Totally.
gotta hope.
I hope not.
We got lucky because, like we were saying, that's in like our origin. That was like around, but
Yeah,
we just knew better, I guess.
Because like some of that shit I would have to like listen to because it was like '02. It was like, oh, I got like the demo or that's who's playing the show, and it's like it's not what you want it to be, but it's hard and it's like it's like aggressive sounding.
Sure.
You know,
everyone's
so
got a starting point too. You know what I mean? Everyone's got a starting point. Not everybody can be blessed with victim in pain right off the bat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So someone's going to have to get into something somewhere. And it happened to be 18 Visions or From Autumn to Ashes, so be it. You know, I'm sure there's some people that grew out of it. And then there was obviously people that stuck with it, but you got to start somewhere.
I wonder what would be comparable when we got into stuff, you know, as far as embarrassing stuff that people listen to. Worst I can think of is like 7 Seconds at the time, and that was cool stuff.
Right, it was still.
Yeah, that's not like
comparison.
That would
that
be kind of like
amazing.
a far out, kind of like long hair, weird layout kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. That shit always sucked.
Yeah, it did.
It was a terrible time in hardcore.
And people embraced like the crossover period in like the 80s. Like when the metal came in and like the Cro-Mags and shit, that was cool.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to embrace the fucking crossover, fucking Hot Topic, and
No, I'm just saying
hardcore.
that they did it wrong. I guess I'm trying to say.
Well, in a way too, I've heard people say like the crossover in like the '80s that kind of it didn't save hardcore, but it kind of injected something new into it, and it was fresh and it was a different sound.
At the time, there were two separate audiences, but they both fed off the same sort of a thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's why hip hop worked back then in the 80s too, because it was all the same social issues. It was all the same sort of struggle issues. It was just the Slayer dudes were playing it faster and they were from Hollywood or wherever. And there was New York guys that were in the streets doing it, you know, and then there was hip hop guys that were in Harlem, Bronx, whatever, having the same struggle, but they were rhyming about it, you know? Whereas I think this whole thing was a bunch of suburban kids with money and they were playing dress up.
Yeah, it wasn't like an organic thing. It wasn't a real
thing, dude. You know, they were playing dress up. So I think that's why that crossover didn't work, because it just wasn't real, you know?
I also never got why they wanted to look like girls. I mean, let's
move on. Because this topic is just...
Yeah.
We could just keep circling back on that.
Buskie's trying to save this.
Yeah, we gotta move on.
All right, next. What's next?
Next.
So...
Gute Frage, nächste Frage.
Yeah.
So it was like your intro, like to the whole thing.
Like we tried to talk to your brother about this, and he didn't really say much.
Well, you said your uncle got you guys records.
Yeah.
Like what got you into like punk and hardcore, and what was it like in Auburn to be like that back in the day? Like, did you get fucked with a lot, or?
We were just talking about this a little bit outside, and I did. I don't know about him or Tim or any, you know, those guys. I would imagine so.
Tim said he got fucked with a lot.
I would imagine so. Tim was way more punk rock than we ever were. You know, he had full Liberty spikes and the whole nine, you know. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I remember Herman Ave, which is in the vicinity. As a school that we
undisclosed
went to.
Location, though.
Right. We went to Herman Ave, and in the summer times, they had that little playground that's over there. They had like counselors, you know, teenagers that would come and hang out. And I would we lived not too far away, so I would skate up here and just hang out up here all the time and just chill out. And there was a couple of girls there. This girl, Chrissy Neville, and Mary Brooke or Apollo, who Tim dated.
Which Brian also mentioned.
It's been mentioned.
Reach Out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they were like, Mary Brooke was a punk rocker. What was the other girl's name? I can't think. I just said it. Chrissy Neville. She was more like an alternative music at the time, which was pretty much punk rock, back then.
Yeah.
I think she's my across the street neighbor.
Oh, really?
Yeah, definitely.
But I remember she gave me an REM Violent Femmes tape, and she was like, check this out.
That's hot.
You might like it, And I remember I loved the Violent...
We did.
Huh?
And we did.
I did. I loved the Violent Femmes side, for sure.
Yeah.
REM I could do without at the time.
Same.
Losing my religion.
But I think that's sort of that sparked the whole punk rock thing. That sort of gave me like an alternative edge, you know. And then I don't know. I think he brought home tapes. Mary Brooke used to hook him up all the time with stuff.
Yeah. In parallel, because I didn't know about that, but in parallel,
Right.
I got Sex Pistols
Right.
and Sex Pistols, the Repo Man soundtrack.
Yep.
That
And
movie's sick.
That movie
that's
is
all I
sick.
needed.
Yeah.
I had Circle Jerks on there.
But we also
Fear.
we had that New York thrash tape very early on too.
Yep.
So I don't know. I mean, we had these tapes, you know, and you would see all these bands and names or whatever, and you didn't know you didn't know any of them. But when you went somewhere, a record store, you would just sort of find these things, you know.
And maybe you could tell by just seeing like the album art. Yeah.
You could totally tell back then, you know. But that's also Herman Ave is also where I first met Carl from Earth Crisis, because Carl
No shit.
used to sweat Brooke, so he would skate in and hang out there and try to, you know,
like, yo, girl, what's
try to
good?
mac on Brooke. And
Wanna
we
go
used to just
swing?
skate at Herman Ave, you know, and I don't know. So I mean, some whatever years had passed, and I remember going and seeing Earth Crisis for the first time, and I was like, "Oh shit!
Oh, it's that one guy.
That's that dude." You know? So that just blew my mind, you know, and that's pretty much
Herman Ave is a focal point of the hardcore
Yeah,
history.
dude, yeah.
Petri dish.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
You'd never know.
But I think my introduction really came sort of through there, honestly, you know, was through that, and then him bringing stuff home, and then just sort of.
What did you bring home?
And then I know he touched on it too, but there was that Kim's Comics down the street
Yeah.
from us too, which
Kim
was
Yeah.
Draheim.
Yep.
Jim
Oh,
Boeheim.
good call.
Yeah.
I don't want to steal the show, but like,
You're doing a pretty good job.
too late.
No
Off camera.
Kitzel's
no,
calling.
but at that time, we were buying tapes for years before that. So we were into
Before
metal.
Kim's. Yeah.
Well, before punk rock.
Oh, right.
So we knew how to shop. We knew how to, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
rock and roll, Alice Cooper, Black
Yeah.
Sabbath, all that shit.
Ozzy.
Yeah.
We knew where to find music, but this shit came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Punk rock came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
We couldn't find it anywhere, but we had friends that would give it to us, and then Kim's Comics, and I'll hand it back.
Yeah.
Wait, so they sold records at the comic
Kim's
store?
Comics was a
Yeah.
comic book store right down the street from our house, dude. And it was like literally a whole smaller than this. It was like
Jesus.
tiny. And they had a bin of records on the right, and then comics on the left, and then he went around the back corner and they had all the Playboys in the back.
That's how.
Yo.
That's what's up. That's where you find me.
But you would just, it was only maybe like 4 bins. It wasn't big. It was only like, 4 or 5 bins at that.
But at that point in time, that must have been the whole
And
world
he had,
for you guys.
some reason, I don't know how or why, but he had everything in there. You know, I remember getting the Violence tape there. I got Acid Rain, which was just some UK thrash band, but the name of the record was called
That's hard. Yeah.
Moshkenstein, and it was like this drawing of a dude moshing, and I was like, gotta
Buying
be good.
I'm buying
So I
that.
bought it, and it's fucking rips, so much shit we got from there, and I don't know how he ended up with his stuff, but again, to go back, you would just go in there and be like, oh, I read that name Crumbsucker somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
No idea what they sound
Life
like,
of
but
Dreams.
cool. I'll grab it, and that's how probably back then most of at least for me, most of my shit came to knowledge, was Kim's Comics. There was Record Giant down in the Ames Plaza, I don't know what it is now. Record Giant was great. I picked up, they had all the Revelation stuff.
You got Shelter there in 1990.
Yep. So they had all the
Damn,
Revelation
son.
stuff at that time. So anything on Revelation, I got Bold, Youth of Today, all that stuff. And then even at the mall, there was a great store at the mall, One Stop Entertainment. Shauna worked there. This girl, Shauna, she's like an old school Auburn punk girl.
Okay.
This girl, Shauna,
Reach
worked
out.
there.
Sean Rudick.
And I used to rob that store. Rob that store. So I used to just go in there and just steal whatever, and just come across
They don't
so much
exist
shit.
anymore, so
Yeah.
you can't get arrested.
It was allegedly.
No, it's all good.
Allegedly.
Handsome. That band, this is band Handsome. Have you ever heard of
Great
them?
New York hardcore band.
But
Okay.
they were all just sort of
Wow.
ex-members of Cro-Mags and Iceburn and
I'll have to check.
Quicksand.
Yeah,
and whatever.
I've never heard of them.
Yeah, Kitzel will disagree with that. They weren't really New York hardcore, but
No,
They were
they
hardcore
they were
heroes.
good. I
They
like
were
them.
There was that
fantastic.
Tom
melodic
Capone.
shit.
Tom Capone.
Yeah.
But I remember walking into that in the mall and walking into the record store and that was on. I was like, what is this? And it was just, I don't even know who was working, but
It
whoever was working
Jeff,
there.
probably Jeff
It was Jeff Clark.
Clark. And that dude was metal.
That's right.
And he fucked with punk rock. Or at least he had a respect for it.
Yep.
But
again, this is to go back to when 89 and independent stuff. This is back when they were independent music stores, Record Time and Kim's. And so we used to also be able to go in and they had all these import shit, like a book of imports. So you'd be like, hey, can I get Uniform Choice Screaming for Change? And they're like, well, what's the distributor? Like, oh, it's on Dutch East. So they would go through the distributor book and you could order
So you
anything.
could pretty much get whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just
Damn.
had to literally order it through the
Right.
record store and forget about actual mail orders because there was, mail orders came kind of like in the mid 90s, I would say, really. There was probably a handful before that.
Yeah.
But John Dudek and all
Yeah.
that. But same way over in Germany, the record store that I would get the first actual records was called Rock Store, and it was mainly jazz. It had some pop and whatever, and it had two, wood
Crates.
cranes
Yeah.
of it was metal, punk, and hardcore all mixed up in alphabetical order. And that was it. Two bins in a record store that was fairly big, but that was a shitload of everything else, and just it had like a couple Misfits things and
Yeah.
Couple staples.
all the main things, Bad Brains and the Minor Threat 12 inches and
then Thrasher, we got a subscription to Thrasher pretty early on in like the late 80s, maybe even. I remember I had an
R.I.P.
88.
Jake Phelps.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And
Sucks.
Thrasher was just like everything. You opened up to that music section and it had every single thing
Pop
Yeah.
Zone.
that you needed to know about. Really, it did. So, and even there was a metal magazine called Metal Maniacs back then, which was awesome too. And they had hardcore contributors. It was a metal magazine, but you could always find cool shit in there, And back then too, you'd see Obituary rocking AF shirts,
Yeah.
or Sick of It All shirts, and it was everything was sort of just in your face, and you just saw a picture and was like, there you go, I got to go get that, or I got to know about this and that. So I don't know. For me, it seemed really easy, honestly.
Okay,
And I know
yeah.
that people now, like with YouTube and Spotify, it's so easy to get into shit now.
it was just a smaller
But it was
contained thing. you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So seeing Obituary wear Chromex or AF shirts or Sick of It All shirts, it was all like in one, even though it was different genres, it was one bubble,
Mm-hmm.
and you were in that bubble. So you just kind of like,
Another one. Need an open-
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I heard too that when they played the We Gotta Know video by the Cro-Mags on Headbangers Ball, that was when a lot of people got into it too, because they were like metal dudes, but then they see
Yeah.
this, music video, and these
Yeah.
dudes are like heavily tattooed, people are
Yeah.
moshing, people are stage diving, and like that's what got a lot of people into
Yeah.
it too.
They were also lucky that they did right off the bat a Motorhead tour.
Yeah.
And they were just one of those bands that right off the bat they had it,
Mhm.
And they just jumped in feet first and they crushed everybody back then.
Oh, yeah.
They crushed everybody. But it was funny because that worked in reverse for me because we used to watch Headbangers Ball and we'd videotape it and shit, and I would wait for all the hardcore songs, because they would have like this little, what did they call it? Like Into the Pit or something. They had like
Yeah.
this little section.
Hit the pit.
Yeah, something branded corny like that. But they would play, Biohazard and
Bad Brains,
Bad Brains and Cro-Mags and
the AF video.
Anthem and shit like that.
So that's when you need to put your
So
tape
that's-
in.
yeah,
And,
I would tape it all anyways. 'Cause
Oh,
like
yeah.
like he said, we were already into metal before that. Sort of jumped right to the punk thing, but we were already into metal super young because our uncle,
okay.
And even my dad, whatever. I mean, he listened to music. It wasn't anything that we liked, but he was musical. He had a cool stereo, when we were growing up. he would always have the radio on in the car. He listened to music. It was smooth jazz, nothing that we really
All
cared
right.
about.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Oh shit.
But it got our musical interest, you know.
There was always something in the house going on. Yeah.
And then when we heard Uncle Rick, you know, who was more of a badass and he had a cooler selection of tunes, it was cooler to like Uncle Rick's music, you know. And that's where he hooked us up with, you know, Motley Crue and Black Sabbath records when we were 8, 9 years old, maybe, you know.
Oh, wow.
Super, super young. And it was just metal straight from there until we found punk and hardcore, you know. But prior to that, yeah, I mean, we'd already been listening to metal and you know, so Headbangers Ball was great because it all the metal shit and then the hardcore stuff.
So it was all the shit that you liked all in one box.
It was awesome. Totally awesome. Yep. From midnight till 3 a.m, you know. It was great.
Damn. So that was like every
Holy
Saturday
fuck.
or something like that?
Saturdays from midnight till 3.
Wow. Okay.
And then I think Sundays from midnight till 2 was 120 minutes, which that was like
that was Matt Pinfield, right? That bald
which
guy.
was like Public Image Limited and Depeche Mode, you know, Psychedelic Furs, all sort of like new wave, you know. Stuff. But even that was cool because, you know, that stuff sort of worked hand in hand still. It was weird.
It was music.
It was alternative people music.
Listen to music.
Yeah.
And then
It
decide.
was just alternative music. It wasn't on the radio, so it made it what you wanted to hear because it wasn't what everybody else was listening to. And back then, at least for me, that was the whole point, was to not be like.
Yeah, it's not on the radio, so
Sure.
it must be good.
Sure. Yep.
So what were there a lot of shows back in the day here, or was it mostly in Syracuse?
I think these guys touched on it before.
The Ukrainian club?
Yeah, most of my first remembrance of shows was at that Ukrainian show. And my first remembrance of an Auburn show was when that band POE played, Process of Elimination, with like No Outlet, I think, from Albany. No Alibi, maybe, was it?
Hunger Artists.
Hunger, I don't know, whatever.
Separate
But
Peace.
yeah, they were smaller shows. I didn't go to that one. And then they moved to the Polish Home across
On State Street?
on State Street, that
Okay.
big building.
Yeah, and then that became Swartz Physical Therapy, I
Oh,
think.
did it?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And I remember there was a number of shows at the Polish Home.
Because there was a bowling alley in the basement, right?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's a
About
building
that.
with a cool windows.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know there was an Auburn band. I think Stuart Mosley's band played there. We played upstairs, or they played upstairs, and because I think there were people downstairs drinking or
Could be. Oh yeah,
bowling,
that's right.
and
they
we had to
shut it
schlep
down.
trying to fucking
gear up.
here, kids. Keep it down.
And we'd
Too
go
darn
upstairs. But yeah, I have no idea who played that. Engler would probably know.
I
but
definitely know
it was an
Pressure.
Auburn
There was
too.
this band
Auburn
Pressure
band.
Head from Rochester, who was kind of like a hyped up, you know, semi
Okay.
local for the
Hometown.
Rochester
Heroes.
Buffalo. Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. I know they played there before, and I know this band Grey House played there. Yeah, I don't know. There wasn't many shows though.
Were there any Auburn bands?
Underside.
Underside.
Is that Dopko's band?
That was Oh yeah, Shane.
Greg
Yes,
Dopp.
yeah.
Greg?
So the lineage there. Yeah,
Shane's
Shane.
dad.
Yep. And our friend Mark, who's still a good. I just saw him recently. He owns a bar in Oakland with a dude from Green Day and a dude from this
Oh,
band,
wow.
Monsula. So he's still involved.
That's what's
and
up.
He's an awesome dude. Underside was really the biggest. Yeah, actually, there was Ground Zero. Let me think. I got to go back now. Ground Zero was who was in Ground Zero? Brightman, Eric Brightman.
I think Brightman, Larry Glauberman.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. We need other people.
Yeah. Well, I definitely remember that. I remember
Stanford.
the Flaming Buddhas.
Yeah.
That was
No.
another band.
Flaming
Too late for
Buddhas.
them.
Oh, okay.
Which
early
now,
for
fuck,
them.
now that I say it, I have MP3s of that. I was going to make you a copy of it. I'll get it to you.
Tim, we need you back on.
Yeah.
buddy.
But there was a band, Flaming Buddhas, and that was Mike Engler's
Lee
band.
Engler to speak
Yeah.
to all that stuff.
Yeah. But they play, I remember Ground Zero played in Syracuse at the Lost Horizon, and that was, I think, my first time going to the Lost, because I came
Okay.
from the Auburn,
Yeah.
came with the Auburn crew
Oh, that's what's up.
to
Fuck yeah.
to that show, and that was the first time I think I was at the Lost to see Ground Zero play, and they were like an Auburn band, but I mean they didn't last much more
Yeah.
than probably a couple months even back then. But then I started to get into funny shit here. I tried to start a band with these dudes. This guy Cheese, we called back in the day.
Good old
And,
cheese.
This other kid, Josh Dwyer, you guys might know him. He was a little bit younger than us.
I don't know.
No.
Doesn't ring a
He
bell.
played drums. Good drummer at the time. He was a kid though, like 12, 13, super young. And to get into the story, we were practicing at Cheese's garage once, and we needed another guitar player. So I thought of this dude, Eric, whose dad is in Manowar.
Okay,
And I
yeah.
was like, this dude's got to be good. His dad's in Manowar, you know? So we had him come, and he didn't really know how to play anything. I mean, he's a metal, whatever dude. We were trying to play punk, hardcore shit. So I was like, next practice, come and just, if you have a riff or two, just something, bring something. So next practice, he shows up and he starts playing this tune, and I'm like, that sounds really familiar, man. You sure that's your song? He's like, yeah, I wrote it. So he starts jamming it again, and it was fucking Eagles, Hotel California.
Did
Yeah,
not
I'm like-
expect that one.
And I was just like, man, I don't think it's going to work with this dude. Even though his dad's in
Yeah.
Manowar, I don't think this is going to work.
Who was his dad?
Eric
Adams?
Eric Adams.
Okay, the singer.
Singer,
Yeah.
yeah. What?
Yeah, because his name's Eric, and I guess his brother's
Yeah.
Adam, maybe.
Yeah, he still sings the national anthem at the Auburn High School wrestling meets.
Who? Eric
Every single
Adams?
time?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? Wow.
Yep. Of Manowar fame.
Yeah.
No shit.
So that was my attempt at starting a band. It didn't go anywhere.
Give it a shot.
I was always told that the first Hellfest was in Auburn. Is that true, or is that just some lore? It was at the
97.
4-H building next to
I don't think it was called Hellfest yet,
Lasca's.
though.
Okay.
It was back then. It was still just Syracuse Fest, I think.
Okay.
It became Hellfest.
It's Syracuse
a little bit.
Fest in Auburn.
Something like that. Yeah. There
Who
was
put that on Ryan Hex.
Ryan Hex, because then there was another one. Then they moved him to, I think, Hungry Charlie's, because there was still another Syracuse Fest. From what I remember, I could have this all wrong though.
Ryan Hex. Reach
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Because I think another victim at that point had played Syracuse Fest before it was Hellfest, and that was at Hungry Charlie's. That was the Earth Crisis incident. at Hungry
Where the
Charlie's.
shots were fired.
Mm.
Yeah, okay. So you were there?
Yeah, yeah.
So is there anything that you can add to what might have allegedly happened? You can leave out any names or any...
No, I
Any
mean, it's
bad
all
shit?
pretty much true. I mean, this dude had a beef, and he was a friend, but he had a beef, and he came up, and I just remember the girl coming down the alley and just spraying everybody with mace first.
Holy fuck.
So his girl
So
sprayed
she
everyone
came
with
down
mace?
the alley spraying mace, and that's when it got alerted that there's a girl out there hooking everybody up with mace.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
And then it was shortly after that he came out with a gun, And by the time I had gotten up, me and Carl actually ran up. And by the time me and Carl got to the top of the stairs, somebody, I don't remember who it was, had the doors blocked. And I remember Carl going fucking ape shit,
Word. So there was no fear. Like this dude had a fucking gun, and y'all just came in and were like, "Yo,
Carl
fuck
wanted
you."
to destroy
Yeah,
him.
that's
Damn.
sick.
Yeah, it is.
And the dude wouldn't let us out. So I remember just going back downstairs with Carl. I don't know what happened to him. But by the time I got back out upstairs, there was still mace everywhere. And that dude had taken off down the alley. And I went, not after him, but I went behind him to see what he
Yeah,
was
just to
doing.
make sure. Yeah.
And he got around the corner of the alley, and our friend Guav was standing there. And the cops just came flying up and just tackled him right there.
Damn.
And Guav was like, well, he came around the corner like, chill. And he looked, he goes, what's up, Guav? And he goes, what's up? What are you doing here? And then boom.
Oh, the cop just came up and got him.
He got tackled right there.
So that dude served some time.
I
think
don't know
so.
if he did. He might probably.
I think so.
Yeah, probably.
I could be wrong, but I think so.
Yeah.
Has anybody seen him since?
I talked to him.
Yeah.
Oh, really? So it's all.
He recently bought Star Wars wallpaper off my girlfriend.
Wait,
What a
so like
random
it's all like
Off Facebook Marketplace.
really? So it's all like
I
squash,
don't
like
know. I'm not going to speak for Earth Crisis, obviously.
Star Wars wallpaper.
So I don't
Settling
know on
beef,
their
small
behalf. But I think that beef did get sort of settled. I'm going to say squashed, but
Damn!
I think there was an understanding that it was just like
Don't fuck around
we'll
anymore.
let
Yeah,
this one go. I don't know. Again, I don't want to speak for them, so I have no idea.
yeah.
But he's he's not blacklisted at all, I don't think. But that happened. And what I always heard, I don't know if it's true or not, that he actually pulled the trigger and the first one was empty or locked or something, and it didn't fucking, lucky for him.
So,
it
yeah.
didn't go off.
Lucky for everybody.
Lucky for everybody, yeah. It didn't go off. But yeah, that happened, dude. That shit was legit. And the crazy thing is the show still happened.
Oh, they're like, all right, yeah, it's
The
cool.
show
Like,
still happened.
Well,
it's
that's
not
over.
like you would think nowadays he'd be like, that's it, everyone out. But the show
Yeah.
still happened.
That'd be in the paper.
closed.
It was like a half hour later, everyone was back downstairs,
Who
and that
played?
was it. Man, I don't even remember. It was like one of those 3-day things. Every band you could think of, pretty much.
Oh, it was one of those fests.
It was
Syracuse
Fest.
Fest.
It was
or
called
whatever.
Syracuse Fest then. Though.
Spawn was supposed to play one of them.
Really?
Never
Yeah,
happened. But
It was every band you could think of, really, for the time. But
So, how did you end up hooking up with these guys out here? Because you're originally from
Germany.
Germany, for all the folks out there who don't know. Yeah, for all the pud heads out
All
there.
4 of them.
And you were in the band True Blue, right?
Yes.
Okay, shouts
Uh,
out.
Nice.
So there's 2 angles to meeting Buskey, I guess. One is DJ Rose, who sang for Path of Resistance.
Okay.
I met him in '94 while he was tour managing Earth Crisis in Europe. Became friends and stayed in touch with him. And then our friend Scott Vogel, who sings for Terror, I used to go to Buffalo during the mid-'90s to visit him, and then Scott and I would drive out here for shows. And trying to think of first interaction, must have been at Halo, maybe.
I think it was.
It had to be before Ski's wedding, like briefly.
Don't think so.
No. Well, I guess then this guy Mike Ski, who sang for Brothers Keeper,
Yeah, I remember that.
he
Erie, Pennsylvania's finest.
he got married, and they had a show, like a wedding show. Did A.V. play, or were you just
No.
there? You were just there.
Buried Alive and Earth Crisis,
Yeah.
Damn, that's sick.
amongst others. Oh wait, I think we did play. Doesn't matter.
Anyways,
Yeah.
so
Anywho,
we met basically during
the rest is history.
some 6 stage dives.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You
So it was
met
like a wedding
you
show.
met in the pit.
Yeah,
That's fucking cool.
So I think the wedding was maybe on a Saturday that we were all at, and I came over from Germany for the wedding. I flew into Buffalo, and then Scott Vogel and I drove to the wedding, and you must have come out with
We were
DJ
there,
and all
yeah.
those. And then, so the wedding was Saturday, I think, and Sunday they had a show.
I just remember Earth Crisis. No, I remember Buried Alive got done playing, and we were both stage diving during Buried Alive, and I just, Scott was out in the crowd or whatever, and I walked up to him to talk to him, and he was there, and Scott was like, Patrick, and I was like, no, and I was like, oh, nice to meet you, and he just goes, good stage dives,
That's what's up.
and I was like,
Respect,
Yeah.
respect.
I was like, you too. And that was it. And then I remember during Earth Crisis, it was like a stage dive-a-thon.
A stage dive off.
We just went
Dive
wild
off.
during Earth Crisis. And that was that's where I remember. I don't remember any Halo.
When was that? 99? That show? That wedding?
Yeah,
I kind of feel like we ran into each other at Halo
we
before.
could have, but
But anyways, I guess that was kind of like the starting point.
Sick. That's what's up. And then you ended up moving out here, right?
Yep. I ended up dating his ex-girlfriend.
His ex-girlfriend?
Yep.
Oh, damn.
Shit.
Holy smokes.
Married his
And we keep
ex-girlfriend.
it real, man.
Yep. And divorced his ex-girlfriend.
Bummer.
But yeah. I moved here in late 01. Right after 9/11, basically.
Okay. So you've been here a long ass time.
Yep.
And I recently saw online that you got your citizenship.
Yep.
So
Pretty
What's up, man?
badass.
Yeah.
What's up?
Welcome.
Incumbent in America.
Officially.
Yep.
we are a nation of immigrants. Remember that, people, no matter what people try to say.
Yep, that's right. After paying taxes for almost 20 years, now I can vote.
Yeah, for real. That's
Jesus.
fucked up.
Yep.
How does that work? Like, you came over on like what, a travel visa or?
No, I just kind of came over, stayed, got married, and that
Okay.
was it, kind of, And yeah, I had a green card for 18
What do you
years.
get when you get married? What sort of?
Yeah, because I thought maybe
You
that's
don't
when you
really
become a
get-
citizen.
No, you just... That basically means they can't kick you out because you're
Mm.
tied to somebody. And then you got to still apply for everything and go through like a business. It's basically money because everything you file for, a work permit costs money. You got to file all this paperwork and it's a couple $100. They make you take this like medical exam.
What the fuck?
Damn,
that
that's
was
kind of
like-
intrusive.
It was like
Yeah.
$2,800. Like,
Holy fuck.
and it's all
Wow.
stupid stuff. Like,
What are they doing to you? Like,
they do like a full checkup. You got to take
Do you like
AIDS test. Yeah, I like going to the doctors. I don't mind doctors. I like
spread your cheeks and lift your sack.
Yeah, it's just basically money, I think. Because once they do like a background check and they see you don't have anything, what's the point of not letting you in? I guess.
Is it true that you have to
Sick.
take like a test? Like, what's the 10th president of the United States and shit
Yeah.
like that?
Well,
wow,
when you
yeah.
become a citizen,
Okay.
not for the green card, but when I just went through all the stuff to become a citizen, there's the civics test. There's a written.
Which I've heard that most
the
people
written-
wouldn't be able to pass that
Yeah,
test.
most Americans.
The
Oh,
written
fucking
part
for
was
sure.
I pay taxes. You had to be able to write that out.
Really?
I pay taxes.
I give Uncle Sam his due.
Wow.
That's wild.
That's a nice
Yeah.
insight on that process.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
pay taxes. You're in.
So there's like a 3-part thing. You got to be able to, write a sentence. There's a part that's just a casual conversation, so you can prove you speak the language, which also makes no sense because if you don't speak the language, you can have a translator there.
Oh,
Oh, okay. I speak the language, but I need this guy here.
Yeah.
And then there's the civics test, which is like a bunch of questions out of 100.
When was the War of 1812?
So, which one of the questions was, who's the current president? That was good.
Wow.
A clown. So, what are you guys up to now? Maybe we can tie some stuff in together with what y'all are like doing now. I know y'all are pretty busy.
He's more busy than I am. So, set it off.
I don't know. We're always doing.
I've got
some
kids,
shit.
so my priorities at this point have sort of,
That's like the main thing.
yeah. But
Family first, folks.
Respect.
yeah,
Same boat.
but I still
He
play.
actually does stuff that makes sense.
raising,
Raising 2 great kids.
but yeah, whatever. You're still doing good stuff too.
Still running the tattoo shop and then
Yeah.
doing ranching on the side, or what?
Yeah.
What's that all about?
Yeah.
Well, the tattoo shops.
Halo tattoo.
Great shop.
Yeah.
I see you got a tattoo newspaper now.
Yep. Just put out the first
Tattoo
issue.
Today, I believe.
Yep. and Just put out the first issue of Tattoo Today, and I don't know. There's always some projects, Reaper actually has a compilation coming out after not having anything out.
Yeah, I was about to ask about that. I haven't heard anything from y'all. We got one of your old flyers.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yep.
That statement still doesn't really make sense, but
They've got beef, folks. I mean, that's some beef. Like, you got Terror. Like, that's hard as fuck.
Where what are we looking at?
Hardcore
Right there.
compilation with Death Threat, Ringworm. I mean, that's pretty
that
hard.
never came out.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that definitely never happened. It
Bummer.
was supposed to, it just didn't.
The comp is good. The new comp, though, for sure.
Yeah, I'm
So
excited.
that's out right now, or that's coming out soon?
It's at the pressing plant. It should be out February.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna have to cop that.
So we'll get you guys an advance copy.
Oh,
So
fuck yeah. We'll do a
Podcast
review.
exclusive.
Is it true a lot of the pressing plants are like over in Europe still?
Yeah.
That's kind of weird. I don't know a lot about that.
Yeah, I don't really, I mean, there's plenty over here.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's just, unfortunately, like many other things, cheaper to get them done. Most of them are in Czech Republic.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I noticed that wilding incident. One was pressed in the Czech Republic.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of the Reaper stuff got done at that pressing plant.
No shit.
So, which sucks, but, you know,
Those are good U.S. Pirates press.
that's Czech Republic.
Oh, is it? They send it
it's
over?
just an office. You know, it's just a
Scratch that.
yeah. So
Still a cool press.
same with what STV uses.
Mm.
It's just an office in the city, and they get everything manufactured. It's all the same plant.
Shout out to Stronger Than Before.
Yeah, shout out to STB for sure.
Yeah.
So
You heard it here.
Yeah, it hasn't been as busy as years past, but just doing other stuff and
yeah, you guys had that run where you guys, I would say, you're probably the most important label in hardcore music. I mean, you put out Naysayer, Trapped Under Ice, Turnstile, to name a few. I'm probably forgetting a lot, but
Yeah.
that was definitely our shit for a long ass time.
yeah. When my mom passed in 2016 or 2015, I was just kind of like over that part. Kind of, you know, it's you spend so much money pressing stuff, and even with the bands like Trapped Under Ice and Turnstile, it's just it costs so much to make vinyl.
Yeah.
Versus what you can sell it for. It's just always kind of like, you know, like you have a big release and it pays for like the 3 small releases, you know.
Oh,
And you're
okay.
back at square one. And
Yeah.
but yeah, around 2016, I was just kind of like, you know, tired of doing that financial figuring of needing a bigger release to be able to put out smaller things and I don't know.
It becomes
But it's
a job after a while.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
and I
nuts.
never did it as a full-time
Right.
job. I always had a full-time job and did the label, and I don't know, I just kind of like shifted interests.
Yeah, and it's not bad to just have a little break for a while. Sometimes you need a sabbatical, you know?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a sabbatical. It's just kind of like, so much stuff happened all back to back too. You know, Backtrack wanted to do a LP.
Oh, yeah, they were on there.
They say I wanted to do a LP. Trapped Under Ice were doing maybe their second record. Terror had something, and it was all like in like a 6-month span. And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, you're like,
it just
"Fuck
at
this."
some point it was just so much, and
It's a lot of
I
work,
know.
dude. For sure.
so. But yeah, there's a couple things in the works. Maximum Penalty allegedly
Yo.
working on some
We
new
fuck with them.
material.
I kick it 2 times for the show shot.
And,
We fucked with that record heavily.
Big
It's a
time.
good one.
Our
Yeah.
boy Tyler Gilliard, he had like a 06 HHR, and we would rock that record,
Yeah.
going to shows and
it's a
shit.
good one. It's
I
quite
still rock that
comfortable.
shirt with the fucking skeleton with the pistol.
Yeah,
Fucking
it was
love that shit.
Life and Times, I believe, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yep.
It's probably
Great
one of the
record.
best ones we did.
Yeah. And I wasn't a part of the band at that point, so I look at that record as a fan still, you know, because I wasn't even had nothing to do with
Yeah.
the band at that time. And it really is one of the best. in
They're one of the
so
most
long.
underrated bands.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, and that dude can really fucking sing.
He's
too.
got pipes on him.
Yeah.
Yep. His dad, I don't know exactly the story. I probably should know this. probably shouldn't even be saying it if I don't know the exact story.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
But his dad was in whose band? Duke Ellington's band or something?
That's really cool.
Yeah, he definitely.
Jimmy, the singer. His dad was like a big jazz musician. I think he was a drummer actually.
Okay.
And he played with a lot of really influential, I want to say Duke Ellington or somebody, jazz dudes.
That makes a lot of sense with the
So
way that he
he's
sings
got-
and everything. I mean,
He's got it in his blood already. And he's a drummer too. You know, he played drums in Nausea,
and he's plays drums for the Wilding
he plays drums in Wilding
incident. Yeah.
But he was a drummer too. You know, Sarcasm and a bunch of other shit too.
I was at a bar one time in New York City called Otto's Shrunken Head.
Yeah, he
I was
works
pretty
there.
sure he was the bouncer,
Oh,
but
yes.
I wasn't sure, so I didn't want to be like, "Hey man, what's up? Love your fucking band."
You would have loved it. Consider yourself lucky you didn't.
Yeah, that's hands down one of the best Reaper releases.
Yeah. We were trying to write a song for that, or not write, but finish a song for that comp. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, but there's 5 or 6 new songs that we're supposed to be finishing up and releasing this year. So
Will it be on?
it'll be on Reaper. Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah,
What's up?
so,
You guys have any shows coming up? Any tours?
yeah, we're playing in February. Our friend Drew Stone sings in this band Antidote.
Yeah, he did the New York hardcore.
Yeah, he does the
film.
Chronicle
Yeah.
stuff. He started doing these free shows at this bar called Niagara.
Which used to be the A7.
It used to be
Yeah.
A7. So he started doing these shows. We're playing one of those in February.
That'll be sick. That's a tiny ass
Yeah,
room.
it's tiny. So that'll be cool. And then our drummer actually is moving to Las Vegas
Damn.
shortly thereafter. So we're kind of in limbo at this point on shows and progress going forward. But
It's always hard to find someone to play the drums. I remember for us, that was always the biggest thing. There was like one guy, Swags, played drums in maybe like five bands at once.
Yeah.
You know?
There's always a million guitarists and bassists kicking around.
Yeah.
Someone's got an amp. Yeah,
See,
me.
your band is only as good as your drummer too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
That makes all the
you
difference.
gotta have a good drummer if you want to have a good band.
that's right.
So I don't know. We'll figure that one out. But MP's still kicking along, doing some stuff.
I was definitely loving that shit.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a great record. Really is. Really is.
So weird segue, but why did The Promise end? Because I remember you guys were on the top of the fucking world, and then it was just, I remember seeing you guys, it was like the New Year's show, like 04, and you had that Die or Fight shirt that I had. And wasn't that going to be like your new,
That song is actually
record? And then I never heard anything about
No,
it. And then you
that
guys played the
was-
last show.
Yeah, well, that song "Dire Fight" was for a comp.
Okay.
It's on some I don't even know the name of For You, I think is the name of the comp. The Promise. I don't know,
You
man.
guys were fucking sick.
Yeah, The
Yeah.
Promise wasn't really even supposed to be a real band, honestly. You know, it was
Oh, really? It was just sort of like a.
it was a fuck
fuck
you to
you.
the Fashion Core thing. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So we wrote those 2 songs literally in maybe 2 hours, you know?
Yeah.
It was, I think, well, JD wrote them right off the bat. I think My True Love was straight off, no changes. He just played that, and that's how it came out. And then Crush All Fakes was, you know, I don't know, an hour it took, but it was completely thoughtless. You know, it was just whatever, say fuck you and get out.
Really?
You know, so we recorded that. We recorded the 2 songs actually, and it was called True Love at first.
Yeah, because wasn't that going to be the name of the band?
Name
But
of the
then there
band
was
was
some
gonna be
other
called True
band. Yeah.
And we still owed records to Equal Vision from Another Victim.
Okay.
So Equal Vision was going to put out whatever we were doing going forward, True Love. And he was like, I don't want to put it out as True Love because there's already a band, True Love. I don't want to deal with that bullshit.
Yeah.
So we changed the name of the Promise.
Was that a ringworm?
That was a ring
Reference? All right,
Actually,
sick.
GREZ, our boy GREZ came up with that because we were just,
Shouts out to Gress.
we were just sitting around.
From Auburn, right?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
Really?
Amazing tattooer.
Yeah.
I knew that. I didn't know he was from here.
Oh, yeah.
Is he about your guys' age?
He's my age.
They grew up together.
Yeah,
No
I mean,
shit.
he was my best, still is, since 8th grade. You know, I met
Really?
him. I met him. In
Damn,
8th
that's what's
grade.
up.
Shout out to Carson Zeiler for giving him his name.
Yeah. But yeah, GREZ, we lived together back then in Syracuse, and we just needed a new name, and we just went through CDs, you know, stack of CDs, came across The Promise, and I was like, oh, there it is, that's it. But really, it was just supposed to be sort of a project thing, because me and JD were still doing Sana Sangre at that time too,
we didn't even bring that up yet. Whew.
you know,
Amazing.
and that was just they overlapped, and then
Yeah.
Sana Sangre shit the bed,
Unfortunately,
and that sort of
you guys should have fucking
Could have
huge.
gone all the way.
I'm just saying,
I agree, and I hate to be whatever, but I agree that band was awesome.
you guys would have been playing like a stadium tour right now.
Yeah.
Fucking, I'm saying,
It's,
Mhm.
I don't know about that, but it was a cool band for sure.
playing at Madison Square Garden.
But when
Kiss.
Sana Sangre broke up, it was just like, all right, I guess we got more time now.
Yeah, gotta get the little crispy sound.
So we put a little bit more time into The Promise, and then Equal Vision backed out on putting it out, and Death Wish wanted to put it out.
Okay,
So,
yep, I
and
remember
they
that
were
when
at the
she came out
time
on that.
were sort of just coming up. You know, this was long before they were into all this other.
Converge and whatnot.
Yeah, they were like a
I didn't
hardcore
converge, but
label.
like the low primo, whatever that stuff is, Mi Amore, or all that, whatever that stuff.
Touche Amore.
Okay, I've heard the name. I've never heard of them.
I just don't
Yeah.
know any of that stuff.
I don't know it
Yeah,
either. I know the
any of
name.
So they were still sort of, you know, blacklisted.
Yeah,
You know, they were still more of a
100 Demons was on
yeah,
there for.
hardcore bass.
Yeah.
thing.
Okay.
So they put out that 7-inch, and it just, you know, it was kind of a hype label, and it just did well. And like I said, we had no band. Sana Sangre was done. And, you know, Terror was just starting. Death Threat was around. We were good friends with all the Death Threat dudes.
We
My
love them.
all-time favorite band.
Mine too.
So it just sort of reached the sky. We were great friends with already. All Out War, we were already good friends with. And these are
Shouts to
bands that
Chiz.
were already, yeah, right. These are bands that are
Shout outs
already
podcast.
Yep.
doing shit. So we sort of just, you know, hopped on that and did some tours, went to Japan, Europe, you know, and we did shit that we never planned on doing. And it just got to this point where it's like, all right, we wrote a record. Now we got to either write another record.
Yeah, you're like, whoa, what are we gonna do? This wasn't even supposed to be this thing.
And it just got to that point where it's like, all right, we're not going to. So, which sucks too,
Yeah.
because it, you know, in hindsight now, I'm like, man, no band should ever break up. Honestly, if something's
Yeah,
going
leave it
on,
open-ended.
you know,
Hiatus.
unless it's like something where you literally can't fucking be around this person anymore, just fade away for a minute. The whole breaking up thing is just like, I don't know, you know, things are time and place. It's just, at that time we didn't need to fucking
Yeah.
do a record. You know, we needed to just get away from each other.
Yeah, it's just like the stylistics. You
Yeah.
break up to make up. You know?
I don't know about that one, but sure. That one went over my head.
Oh, okay. Break up to make up. You ever heard that song? All
But
right.
yeah, that's how that
odd.
ended. It just sort of, I don't know, fizzled out because it was never really meant to go that far to begin with.
Yeah, but it was also cool, and I wasn't in the band, but I want to thank you, and I'm sure they would too. You put our boys Enough is Enough
Yeah.
on the show,
Yeah.
and that was cool.
That was Shane's band, right?
That was it was Swood, Stein, Dustin
Jeez.
Lovell,
Oh, wow, yeah.
Cody Laxton.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, you gotta pass it forward. You gotta
that's what's up.
hook it up. So yeah, it sucks, but Sana Sangre, though, I agree with you. That should have gone a little bit further than it did.
Yeah.
You know, it was definitely way too early for that.
Have you
band.
done any like one-off shows with Sana Sangre? I know like The Promise has, though, right?
Yeah. No, Sana Sangre, I think, is just gonna stay where it is.
Bummer.
Damn.
I would definitely go to one of those
The
shows.
Promise probably should have too, you know, but whatever.
Yeah, are there any plans for any other shows with The Promise? You did
Promise
the thing
is
with Bane.
done.
Oh, it is?
Yeah,
Really?
Promise is done. We wrote
Damn.
6 new songs after that. We did those 2 Bane shows, and then United Blood. We went down there and did United Blood, And
that whole fest seems really, really cool.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
great. It was great. And I don't know, I don't know how, but everyone seemed to get the shot in the arm to do new Promise songs. So we wrote 6 new songs in like a couple of months, and then went to Buffalo, recorded them without vocals, and sent them down to Anderson, to work on them. And he just wasn't into it, which is all
Bummer.
good. Yeah, it's all good,
Bummer, yeah.
No loss of love there. I don't want to do something that's not for real. You know what I mean? And it's
Okay, yeah, it's got to feel right.
and at the end of the day, the Promise was a straight edge band. I'm not straight edge anymore. You know what I mean? And I only did those shows because Bane are our very good friends. We went through a lot of shit with them. And even at the time that we did those shows, I was like, I don't know, dude,
Yeah, I guess I could see that.
I did
yeah.
it for the sake of whatever, the Promise. And when we did United Blood, I felt at that moment on stage there, I was like, I'm not into this. I'm not trying to fake that I'm some straight edge dude anymore. Or whatever. So even for me, I was sort of over it. And then I think when it came time to being proactive about doing the new it wasn't going to be called The Promise. We already agreed it would be some new band. But it was still The Promise,
Yeah, people would be like, yeah, you going to see The Promise?
So it was kind of just like, whatever, just let that go. But there's 6 new songs.
Any chance of those songs ever seeing the light of day?
I don't know. They've been given to somebody to do vocals on, but he's super slacking on that. So
Okay. Somebody.
yeah,
Yeah,
Someday.
we talk about that off stage.
Yeah.
Off mic.
Yeah, we don't want any beef.
we'll see where that goes. But I don't
It's
know.
not me.
No?
Why not? Get it started.
We still have to do Retaliate.
Retaliation.
We started a band that had,
Rabasa?
No, I'm good, thank you.
we even made T-shirts before even anything.
So have you done any other bands?
No.
No. You just never had
when
the
I
itch?
moved here, or was it even before I moved here? No, right after I moved
Yeah,
here,
it
we
was
kind of
after, I
like
think.
started trying to put something together and even made shirts before we even practiced. And
That's what's up.
yep, and I never went
Never
anywhere.
went anywhere.
Damn.
Happens.
Yep, and that was the last time
Yeah.
I tried to do a band. And that's
Maybe
all
one
right.
day you'll get the bug again.
Nah, that's okay.
No? He's all good with that, folks.
Yeah.
Would you like to talk about your zine that you've been doing?
Yeah.
Sure.
Edit
It's
to
great.
Exhumed?
Yeah, sure. It was actually spawned from something that he did. He did the tribal, fanzine.
Oh, yeah. Fuck yeah.
10 issues of that. And I don't know, man. It's the way that his approach, the way that he handled the zine and the approach, it was just sort of rubbed off on me. And I don't know. I need to do something too, like I said before, I'm pretty much a stay-at-home dad with the kids,
Okay.
Band stuff is minimal, at this point. So it's not like I'm really involved per se much anymore, but I'm still scouring. I'm still looking for bands. I'm still paying attention. And the zine was, I don't know, I do graphic design, so it was just a way for me to sort of do graphic stuff for myself instead of always doing shit for everybody else and they get it. And
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And it was just a way to sort of, I don't know, stay in touch and, put shit out there that I liked, There's a lot of even with hardcore nowadays, I don't really want to talk much about it because I don't follow it nearly.
Yeah,
as
I don't
much
know
as used
anything
to.
about it. Yeah.
But that's part of it is I don't know anymore, and it's like
Hate 5-6 is where I find all my
yeah,
new
right.
bands.
And how all those videos, I don't know any of those bands,
Barely.
And the ones that I do watch, I'm not blown away, you know what I mean? And it's like, and so much of it just doesn't sound like hardcore to me anymore.
Yeah, we talked to Swit about this.
So
Yeah.
that zine was sort of, I don't know, me just being like, this is what hardcore is kind of a thing. And,
Yeah, this is what you like.
This is what I like.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not is one thing, but it was just a
Right.
way to sort of, present my angle on things. Plus design something and put my design, stamp on something that you know, it's also furthering my design thing.
Yeah. So you got to flex on them, you know?
I was loving the Simon Earl tie-in because like he like tattooed all our boys back
A
in
bunch
like
of our
the
friends
early
back in like
days.
07. He was staying at Shane's house for like a weekend or two.
Shane.
Derizio.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Over here somewhere?
In Weedsport.
Wow,
And it
Simon
was,
did?
Yeah, it was
Who was the other guy that was with him that was
Dallas
tattooing?
Earl.
Shit,
Okay.
I didn't know he was
Yeah,
over
and they
here.
Dallas tattooed our boys a bunch of times, but Simon was here for like a
Wow, I
weekend.
never knew that.
Stein has something by him.
And then he
Sean
designed the
Grady.
Born to Expire demo cover for
Did he
us.
really?
Yeah, yeah,
Holy shit.
That was fucking cool.
I never knew that. That's wild.
yeah. If we could get that, it was like Waco, Texas.
Yeah, and then there was like a
style.
pot
It was like
leaf
some
on the
weird
back.
shit. There was like a weed leaf on it.
I have it somewhere. I got to dig that shit up.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's a cool dude. That bag is actually from Simon.
Nice.
that's what's up.
Yeah, that's one of his slogans. So that's a little Simon Earl bag there.
Okay.
Where is he tattoo now?
He's in England, like London or something.
He
Okay.
just opened up his own shop, Dragon Tattoo,
Oh, did he?
with Sam Lazelle.
Yeah, he does some shit that's raw and uncut.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
I saw
he's got
one
some
he
really
did.
cool
He just
shit.
did. It was like some chick and she was getting railed by like Satan, and like it's like you see everything.
Yeah.
It's like damn, that's hot. That's
He's
hot.
got some cool tattoos for sure. Definitely. I never knew that tie-in though to Born to Expire and Sport and all that. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I
It was
forgot
like
because
06, 07,
because
08,
he's
something like that.
vegan straight edge dude, and
Yeah.
like Shane and all them and Sacred Pledge, they were all vegan straight edge,
Okay.
like hardcore for a while. So they hooked up somehow. I forgot how they met him.
Yeah.
It was through Dallas.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And then you
Yeah.
had a little, what do you have? A little, like a crowbar logo or a little snippet of Kirk Winstein or something like Auburn. Our crew was all about them.
Yeah.
That's like our
Okay,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah. That's probably due in part to me actually, because Shane definitely got into Crowbar through me for sure.
Okay. I got into it through
Yeah.
Jake, who got into it through Craig
Craig
Hackman.
Hackman, yeah.
Oh, Craig Heckman. Who,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Totally.
We're trying to get
Bird
him
Rock.
out. Yeah.
Wow.
Another Win 89 alum like myself.
Craig Heckman.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
He was like the station manager when I started going there, and then
He's still around.
he's in Syracuse somewhere.
Last
milling
I heard,
around.
he was a teacher.
Darker Day Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, I get your CD. I'll give that back.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Thank
Cool.
They're great.
Yeah.
Whose interviews this?
Who is it? No, wait. So he let you borrow a CD?
I didn't know about Dark Day Tomorrow.
Oh,
I knew
okay.
back, but
Mhm.
you gave me the CD. That shit was slamming.
Yeah, and he sang
I like
for
that you guys trade
A Perfect
CDs
Murder.
in 2019.
Right.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
I don't think
He
could've
doesn't
did it
even.
back.
He has no idea how
I
to even use
didn't.
Spotify yet. I try to send him shit. And I'm like, dude, I gotta dub it, high speed dub it.
Yeah.
On the Yorks.
I just got a new double cassette deck. Pretty.
Hey, I'm not
excited
hating
about
on it, but there's also a
No,
time
no, no,
you
no.
need to
I-
understand what
No, I know.
MP3s are.
CD behind you, I think.
Yeah, I was walking out of Prison City beer and I ran into Brian
Oh yeah,
down
told me.
town Auburn. He's like, "Hey, horse,
Sang a sangre.
I got something for
much,
you." And he reaches out into his car and
Or
he
3
picks
for
up that
10.
CD.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Yeah.
So
Eulogy
clever with that
records.
red jewel case, right?
I was
That
gonna
awesome.
say.
I remember
Whose
that
idea
show.
was that?
Huh?
CD release
Whose idea
show.
was that?
That was a JD idea.
That was hot
That
in
was
like
actually-
01. No, like 99.
This was the first layout that I ever did
For your own band?
in general. And I remember
Really?
sending it to the label and they were like, this thing is a mess. And I'm like, what's wrong with it?
Yeah, like, fuck you.
It was a total mess. I had no idea. I mean, look at the tiny ass print. You can't read anything. Everything's low res. But
I've seen worse.
Yeah,
I fuck with it.
Thanks.
No, it's not bad at all.
It was great though in the red.
it's
No,
definitely.
it's not. You can't fucking
yeah, Darker Day Tomorrow was
blow
thanked.
it.
but it like stands
right.
out. You know what I
Just
mean?
overshadows
Yeah.
everything.
Hey, man.
paper. You're gonna take it out and read it anyway.
Yeah.
band didn't stand a chance anyway, so could have been in a black case. It wouldn't have mattered.
The Black Album.
Lumberjackonline.com. I'll have to check them out. See if they're still there.
Yeah, right.
But they ain't there anymore.
Damn.
What else?
What else? Anything?
I don't know. You boys want to wrap it up? We got about an
wrap it
hour 15. If you guys got any final words, any shout outs, any wisdom to the youth out there?
I don't know, man. I'm just glad to see you guys doing something in Auburn.
Yeah, like we're
Thank you.
fucking trying, you know?
Trying to get
doing
this
a
shit
good
off the
job.
ground.
It wasn't a big scene at all. I don't think Syracuse was even a big scene at all.
Yeah.
But I definitely think it has a footnote in the chronicles of definitely upstate New York hardcore, which a lot of the times gets mixed into New York hardcore.
Yeah.
But overall, I mean, between Buffalo, Syracuse, and Albany, you know, a lot of the New York hardcore scene wouldn't have been able to, I'm not going to say thrive, but it gave a huge gateway for a lot of those
blood
bands.
because a lot of people from up here would move down there.
But also it gave New York bands somewhere to go on their way to Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
Little
you know what I
road
mean?
stops.
Instead
on
of
the
having
way.
to drive straight all the way through New York, you'd go up to
Yeah.
Albany.
It's like, oh, we can go stay in Syracuse.
Sure, you know, Uniform Choice played 7 Seconds, AF. I mean, you name it. There was a legendary punk hardcore band, Dead Kennedys, Black Flag. They played Syracuse. You know,
That's what's up.
And that doesn't get a lot of shine. You know, a lot of the times, definitely upstate between Buffalo here and Albany, like I said. But I think that Syracuse and even Auburn at this point has done a good job of, you know, putting.
Yeah,
shit
we
on
got
the
to
map.
get him to send you some of the Sacred Pledge
Yeah, for
and
sure.
Born to Expire shit.
Yep.
So
Definitely. I think I have some of that from Shane already. I don't have the Sacred
Okay.
Pledge shit, but I have the Born to Expire stuff.
and I hear some bands now that are really big or whatever, and when I hear them, I think of Sacred Pledge. Like
Yeah.
it sounds like that.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's cool. I'm glad to see Auburn's got a pulse, you know, because there wasn't much of one when we were growing up. That's for sure.
yeah, I would say there's really not a pulse. Like there's no shows here anymore. or
Yeah, but you're
anything,
doing something,
Yeah.
you know?
And look,
Yeah.
we were in a punk rock we didn't have cars.
Yeah.
We had our own scene. We made our own bands. Thanks.
Give me that fuck.
No, seriously, there was a scene in Syracuse in the 80s and 90s, but we didn't know about it.
Yeah.
We couldn't get to that.
Sure.
I had to stow away in a car to go see Sick of It All in Agnostic Front in 91.
I remember having a cover for him. I remember him leaving the house, and I was like, I'm so pissed that I can't sneak out with him.
Yeah.
And he made me cover for him in case mom and dad, or my dad, in case dad comes
Where
up.
the fuck's Brian?
Yeah.
He went
I
down to
also
Kim's. He'll be right
remember-
back.
He went down to Taco Village.
Yeah, right. He's gonna go in and fight at Taco Village. But I also remember covering for him when he ordered his Doc Martens. I remember I stayed home. I fake sick because I was the rebel. He was the honor student, so he couldn't skip school.
I'm on the tennis team. I can't.
He also neglected to tell you that he was a senior prom king.
I doubt I neglected. Ask
I'm
We
sure
need
you
that
did.
picture for the wall.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Reese
We need
Pletchney.
We need that picture.
Yeah.
I'll work on that.
So
It's in my wallet.
yeah, exactly.
I'll never forget.
It's on his Google Drive.
It's actually his profile picture on all of his social media.
Damn. Tennis squad, prom king.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what's up.
I didn't
But that
know the
also-
tennis angle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glee Club.
I played tennis senior year, and my friend Kosten Zyla from, I don't know where.
Somewhere in
He's from
Germany.
Essen, but he was awesome. He was first singles. He saved our team. GREZ was on the team with me. GREZ and I sucked. Carson was, who's this guy? Gressler. Andy Kressler, your friend Andy Kressler. He sucks like you do. And we started mocking Carson, calling grass.
Grass.
Come pick up my ball set. Grass. And then I don't know. I didn't really coin it, but I call him Grez. But
Yeah, I think
So he got
Damn.
that name from a German exchange student
Student
on
the tennis
team.
court.
Tennis team.
Wow.
friend Carsten.
Damn.
That's
Reach
what's
out,
up.
Rez.
Yeah.
What the
And when,
fuck?
that was high school?
Yeah, it was 1991, 1992.
So that was after I had already met him. Yeah, because I met him in 8th grade. I went to East.
East is the beast. West is the best. I went to West, which is now
Yeah.
closed.
And then my dad taught at West.
Yeah, he was a math teacher, 6th grade. I didn't have him for a teacher,
Yeah.
but I had Mrs. Flummerfelt.
Oh,
She
yeah.
was my.
Cheers to Flummerfelt.
What a name. Did they own the dirt bike shop?
That's a great German name. So
Yeah.
So I got.
But his room was right next door to her room.
Yeah. Yep. Phyllis. But he transferred me to West because I was fucking off at East.
Okay.
So he transferred me in 8th grade to West so he could be on watch.
And also, Wes is known as the more rough school, so you can see how the
Sure.
Did it work
big
out?
dogs play.
Well, here's the catch to that story: is he was there first semester. He was there. I got like a 91 average, and I was always like a 70s dude, just enough to fucking
That 70s
not
dude.
flunk out, And yeah, and then second semester I got like a 91, and then he had a medical condition and he had to split the whole rest of the year. And then the third period, it was like 54.
you got high 50s.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it didn't work at that point. But that's where I met GREZ because I had a study hall and I went in and I sat a kitty corner to him. And you used to have to put your books in the paper bags.
Yeah.
Paper covers,
Yeah.
whatever. And he had the Death Angel logo. I think it was a Death Angel logo drawn on his book cover. And he was like preppy looking though, like he didn't look like he would listen to Death Angel. It's like, you know what Death Angel is? And I think he had Metallica too on there. So there's a couple of logos. I was like, man, this dude's got some good logos on his book.
Yeah.
That was a thing back in the day.
he knows how to
Drawing
draw.
logos.
He had to get into that stuff.
I have no
what
idea,
was his
dude.
connection?
I do not
Probably
know.
wasn't Carrie.
I don't know where he got into it, to be honest with you.
West Middle and Herman Ave.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe.
So that's where I
Yeah.
met GREZ. And then all throughout high school, he was...
Was he a good artist back then? Was it good or was it scratchy?
No, it was good. He's always been good.
He's fucking great.
We did a lot of graffiti around here even back
Yeah.
then, early 90s, and,
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
yeah, right off the bat, he was just good, And then when we lived together, he started apprenticing at Halo, and we were
Okay.
living together.
Oh,
so
shit. I never knew that.
he would come home and just paint and draw, and I'd sit there and draw shit with him. And right off the bat, he was great,
Great human being.
Yeah.
One of the best for sure.
That's what's up.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, there's some old GREZ graffiti around here still.
Damn, we should
Okay.
go seek that shit out.
So when we're not filming, you can tell us the
Yeah,
tag, and
for
then,
sure.
and then we can go find it.
For sure. It's
And then
not
there's
fun.
another off mic we got to talk about.
Yeah. There's a lot of off mics.
Yeah.
we could wrap it up and get to the off mics.
The off mic podcast.
Yeah.
And the
Do you have any
on-mic arena.
final thoughts for the
Yeah.
world?
Thanks for having us.
All right,
Yeah.
sick,
It's
man.
been fun watching you guys' episodes.
Really? Thank you.
Thanks for watching, dude.
Thanks. It means a lot. Like and subscribe,
Yeah.
Yeah,
folks.
for sure. For
Yep.
sure.
And comment below.
Yeah.
Or not.
And sponsor us and send us free shit.
Yeah.
Well,
We're in it for the shit. Yeah, you guys fucking killed it.
Be like these
Yeah.
guys. These guys are fucking awesome.
Enjoy
Okay.
Shirts.
Enjoy that stuff.
Yeah.
We're gonna start making our own merch and then we'll pay it forward.
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, we're gonna make merch. Dustin Lovell? He owns Divine Machine Tattoo in Buffalo.
I know the name for sure.
He's our boy, and he drew the podcast logo.
I saw that the dog.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so we're gonna
that's
throw
dope.
that on like a T-shirt.
Yeah,
We already got
that's
we already got ideas
Very
going.
Detroit coldest lifestyle.
Dude,
Dude,
that's
you
exactly
nailed it.
what I told him.
That was our.
See?
Yeah,
He gets it.
he knows what's
Oh,
up.
yeah.
He
These
made
guys
that
get it.
Marauder business card. record,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah. I
Mhm.
got that on my car
Yeah,
outside.
he's
Yeah.
a good kid.
Nice. Is he related to Dan?
I don't know.
So
He
we'll
might
just-
be. Dustin, I'll
I'll have to
ask you
ask him.
tonight.
Yeah, we'll just
Yeah.
the Dan level.
Yeah, tell him we said what's up.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Well, on that note,
Yeah.
all right, y'all. Peace.
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 Sick. Thanks, guys.